Okay, so this next one says find the two values. Okay, so two values, so I'm going to highlight that to come back to it at the end, of elements of integers, okay, so whole numbers, for which the following equation in x has exactly one solution. Okay, so one solution, so I'm thinking back to when something had one solution, what do I remember about it? The discriminant was equal to 0. Okay, so my discriminant, what was underneath the square root in my minus b formula, so my b squared minus 4ac is equal to 0. Okay, so one solution. And then this is the quadratic that they gave, 3x squared minus mx plus 3 equals 0. Okay. If that throws me off, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I write down what I know about there being one solution. Okay, and I'm going to write it down in the box so that it's super clear that I know that b squared minus 4ac is equal to 0. Okay, now here, a is what's in front of the x squared, so 3. B is this minus m that they've given me, and c is 3. Okay, well, if I actually fill all them in, then I will only have one unknown and I'll be able to solve. Okay, so if I actually fill all them in, so if I fill in b squared, so minus m squared minus 4 by 3 by 3 is equal to 0. Okay, then I'm going to have, so minus m squared, so minus by minus is a plus, and then m squared minus 36 is equal to 0. Okay, so rearrange to get m squared is equal to 36. Okay, have I got m? No, I've got m squared. Okay, so how can I use that to get me my value for m? I can square root. Okay, so if I square root that, I'm going to get that m is equal to 6. But they said find two values of m. Okay, so what is the other thing? So 6 squared gives me 36. What is the other thing that could be squared? Okay, so m squared is 36. What's the other thing that could be squared to give me 36? Not just a plus 6, but also a minus 6. Okay, so a plus 6 would be squared to give me 36, and a minus 6 would be squared to give me 36. So they're my two values for m. Okay, so it was down to that one solution and recognizing my discriminant there. Okay, the other way we could do this, but it's slightly more complicated, is to try and say, okay, well, let's make up what that root is. Okay, so let's say that my root is something like a. Okay, so if x is equal to a is my root both times. Okay, then I could try and form this quadratic up here. But if I start forming a quadratic here, okay, using that, so I have x minus a is a factor, and x minus a is a factor. Okay, the type of quadratic that I have solved, or that I've formed, is a quadratic where the leading coefficient is going to be 1. Okay, so my quadratic that I'm going to have here is an x squared minus 2ax plus a squared is equal to 0. Okay, now from up here, the quadratic that they gave me, that I'm technically want to be comparing with, didn't have a leading coefficient of 1. It had a leading coefficient of 3. So I will actually have to rewrite this out so that I can compare my coefficients. Okay, by dividing everything here across by 3, or I can multiply this full one across by 3. Okay, it's up to you which you want to do. I'm going to divide this one across by 3. Okay, so that I have the quadratic that I can compare to as x squared minus, so m over 3x plus 1 is equal to 0. Okay, so if I compare my coefficients here, yes, I'm trying to find m. Okay, so if I compare that, I have that minus 2a is minus m over 3. Okay, I need to know what a is to manage to solve that. So I need to continue to compare so that I get a squared is 1, which means a is 1. So sub that in so that I get minus 2 times 1 is equal to minus m over 3. Okay, and then I can multiply there by a minus 3 to get rid of the minus and to get rid of the 3 that's dividing, which means I have to multiply this side also by a minus 3 so that I get 6 is equal to m. Okay, now again, that only gets me one solution. So I have to go back and think, where did I miss a solution? Well, look here, a squared was 1. Okay, the other thing that a could have been, okay, what squared is going to give me 1 would have been a minus 1. So a there could have been a plus 1. And the other thing that I should have been filling in was that it could have been a minus 1 for a. Okay, so using this exact same equation here, minus m over 3. Okay, so same equation here, and multiply across by a minus to get rid of the fact that it's a minus, and get rid of the 3 to get rid of the 3 that's dividing. So multiply by a minus 3 here. Okay, and we will get minus 6 equal to m. Okay, not the easier of the solutions. Okay, much easier to recognize that they say exactly one solution. So it's discriminant where the discriminant is equal to 0. Okay, so remember the other things with the discriminant was that it was less than 0 or greater than 0, but exactly one solution was equal to. A much easier solution as to how to do this, but if we were really stuck, we could work it out that way as well. Okay.